before this law of attraction was understood and came around, hard work and sacrifice is all that's been known in the culture. And I'm never going to, nor have I ever said that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not the only option available. So when it comes to creating or manifesting a certain type of work or career, or what you're going to do for your livelihood, there's some different kind of concepts that people follow. And number one is, a lot of people want to find out what their calling is or what their purpose is. And when they say their purpose, what they're saying is, what is that thing that I'm here to do, that I'm destined to do? And one of the reasons they want to do that is because, number one, there's the experience or the thought of, and they're creating this for themselves as they're going along. There's this thought of, if I find out what my purpose is, and I'm living my purpose for my vocation or for my work, I'm going to feel good. That's the concept. I won't feel begrudgingly upset or worn out or tattered or strained from having to go do a job or having to work. So there's this concept of, if I find my purpose and find what it is that I want to create as my job, then I'm going to actually feel much better, and I'll be much happier in my day-to-day life. And it's very true. It's very true. But one of the things that people lose sight of or track of is, they go out and try to find whatever this thing is with a bunch of effort on trying to make something happen for their career. One of the things that I say to people is to kind of back it off and kind of back, and just begin to practice getting yourself into alignment with how you're feeling. Start making how you're feeling about work and vocation, start making that a number one priority. And as you begin making yourself be into alignment, instead of looking at, these are the jobs that I don't want, you start to now put your attention on, what is it the things are that are components of things that I would want for this job or this career that I want. And so one of the things that you might want to say, and this can be tricky for people at first, is you be like, well, I want to be appreciated. And when they're saying I want to be appreciated, what they're saying is, it's really powerful for me because I want to feel like I'm somebody who's making a contribution. So I want to feel appreciated. I want to feel like I'm somebody who's making a contribution. I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to make a difference where I'm at. I want to be able to influence people at my job in a powerful way. I want to have a process or an opportunity for advancement as I begin to expand and move into these bigger, greater bands or spectrums of my own consciousness. So you can begin to create this in your mind in the fourth dimension of the imagination. And then as you begin to ask for these things by putting your attention on what it is that you want to feel like when you're being appreciated at your job. What does it feel like when they give you a plaque, or visualize yourself receiving a bonus check, and start to think about these things in the fourth dimension, in the imagination, on what it would feel like for you to be having these kinds of opportunities in your work or in your career. And you'll see that what starts to happen is the strangest little things begin to align, and these synchronicities with the universe start to come into place, where somebody's cousin knew some friend that knew someone that says, yeah, this guy over here is available and he's really good and he'd be perfect for this. And you start having evidence that the universe is now working and conspiring with you on your behalf to bring that career for you. So the doingness and the physical doingness of it isn't as important as these things that you're wanting. And I guess said differently, if you trust the feeling of it, the right work that matches those attributes that you're looking to experience at your work, then that career will come to you in that alignment. But if you're thinking, I don't have the career I want, there's no jobs in my spectrum of my field, like nothing's working, that's typically what keeps it or holds it in abeyance and won't allow it to come to you. So it's really start to imagine what you want if you are in your perfect career, and then let the universe bring that to you, and it will. So if you're still watching this video and you've heard some things that might have resonated with you and you think there might be something possible for you, click down below, get in touch with me, let's have a conversation, and you're going to know immediately whether or not this is a match. And whatever ends up happening, it's absolutely perfect. But I sure would love to connect with you and just have a conversation. Yeah. Before this law of attraction and before this concept of alignment and manifestation and asking, there's this concept has been around for a long time. Go all the way back to the Bible. In the Bible is ask and you shall receive. Now, so that just lets you know that this conversation's been around for a long time, that I can ask for something and actually have it come to me. Now, there's a few things that you need to fill in around that to understand the principles of creation and the laws of how this actually works. But to realize that what's the most important thing for you is how you're feeling, And I tell people all the time, before this law of attraction was understood and came around, hard work and sacrifice is all that's been known in the culture. And I'm never going to, nor have I ever said that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not the only option available. And what I have noticed is those people who work real hard to go get what they want, by the end of the day, when they get it, they're normally unfulfilled. That's one of the characteristics. There's an unfulfillment about it. There's just, you have to go get it in order to pay your bills and get it so you can buy some more stuff. So it's not fulfilling on a really deep level. And there's not a whole bunch of creative, there's a bunch of effort. So there's a physical well-being cost that I notice goes along with it. Or said differently, you see somebody that's working really hard day in and day out and day in and day out and day in and day out and day in and day out. Well, there's a cost for that. And the cost is, they're not present for other relationships in their life. Sometimes they get injured. They're working so hard, they get injured. They're feeling exhausted. They're tattered and worn out. So a lot of times, one of the controversial statements that people have when they're, opposing or contradicting the law of attraction is, oh, so what you're saying is I could just lay on my couch and eat bonbons and keep looking out the window and eventually there's going to be a Mercedes there. And what I tell people is that there's a real big difference between doing work or exerting yourself from a level of motivation, like working, exerting effort in order to overcome resistance in the physical universe in order to get something, as opposed to taking action where it's inspired action. It's of the spirit. You've been thinking about these things and you've gotten excited about what's going on in your life and you're feeling in alignment with yourself. And then you get this impulse from the universe to go call your cousin that you haven't talked to forever. And then you start to follow these impulses. And as you begin to following these impulses, there's things that you do in the world of action, but it's not effortful. There's not a lot of effort. There's a lot of ease. And you see these guys that are kind of playful around these things, they're at ease around these things. They're not efforting. They're not pushing really hard. They're not, I got up at 6 and I'm going to be here until the sun goes down. They're not in that mode. And proportionally speaking, they're creating exponentially much more than those people that are working hard.